So you're kind of like getting this nice,
For sure.
rounded, almost superhuman type of physique.
Yeah, that's the goal. It never looks like that, obviously.
Hey guys, I'm Tyrone, your good and fit trainer, and today with me I have a special guest. We got the one and only Mr. Fadi. How's it going, man?
Thank you very much for having me, man. It's going very, very well.
Awesome. So, we've been talking about doing this for a little bit of time now.
For a bit of time, yeah.
Yeah, and so, why don't you just give us a brief history about yourself and your journey into fitness?
Alright, my journey into fitness. Wow, this goes way back. Starting off, I come from a family of 5, so typical, soccer mom vibe. So I was in soccer from 1999 to about like 2009, and switched it up after that. I think in 2011 or 2010 I started playing football because I needed something a bit more physical, and ever since, like, I just decided to pursue my field of studies in that.
So in a sense, it was like the sports that you played when you were younger that kind of motivated you to get involved in fitness.
And it was the only thing I saw myself doing in school. Like, as far as like making money, I was able to make money outside of school, but it was the only thing that I saw myself being able to do in school, and making my parents happy, going back to school. That was what I decided to do.
So, buddy, what are you doing currently?
So right now, as I told you, I'm graduated from my bachelor's in kinesiology, so clinical exercise physiology from Concordia. I'm about to start my master's at McGill in rehab science, and I'm working on my YouTube channel and getting into corporate fitness.
Okay.
So working my way around, trying to zone in on really what I want to do. But that's what I'm doing right now.
All right, that's awesome. So, what motivates you? What gets you up every morning, and for yourself personally, gets you to the gym?
Gets me to the gym. All right. The fear of being unhealthy.
That's
feeling,
a good one. I haven't heard that one before.
Growing up, my dad worked 7 days a week, sometimes 12-hour shifts per day, and he's a taxi driver.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, a couple years back, my dad had a stroke, and that's also what motivated me to go into rehab and kinesiology. Is really try to go on the opposite spectrum of that. So he had a stroke, and half of his body was paralyzed, his left side. He was driving at the time, he had to drive himself to the hospital. So the fear of being unhealthy is what drives me to really, get out there and do the best I can in the gym, and just, the best I can physically.
So, what would you recommend to people like your parents who, not necessarily at the point where they're starting to see it, but like someone who's younger who wants to start to be active? What's something that you would recommend for them? Where should they start?
Where should they start? All right. Start by loving yourself. I know this sounds very, very cliche.
It's so important.
But you gotta start by loving yourself, because that's what's gonna help you to want to make yourself better on every level. So whether it's mentally, reading a book, physically, training, spiritually, just seeking out why you exist, or what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. So I feel like knowing yourself and loving yourself is the most important thing to do.
Yeah, and
I feel like that's where it starts.
It's also important to be happy with where you're at right now and enjoy the place you're at right now while you're progressing.
Yeah,
so,
that's for sure.
So many clients that I'm sure you see as well as that I see, they just want the result. They're like, oh, I should be better, I should be leaner, I should be able to run longer or faster. And oftentimes it's, psychologically that's taxing, that's draining, and can have an impact on your results.
It is, and something that has an impact on your results as well is looking at other people. That's something to avoid.
Yeah.
When you're growing as a person, you don't look at the next person next to you, see how they're growing, and compare yourself to them.
Yeah.
That's not what, let's say, a flower does. A flower grows, it has the water, it has the sun, it grows. It doesn't look at the flower next to it and say, oh my God, it's growing faster, or it's growing better. No, you gotta really look at yourself and make sure that you're focusing on your growth and your progression as a person, and not your progression compared to somebody else's progression.
So growing in your own unique way.
Exactly.
Because everybody's different, everybody's gonna grow in different ways, and it's important to realize that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not everybody has the same path, not everybody grows the same way.
I feel like that's a good point. I feel like that's really, really key.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, let's say we got a next client, and there's someone who's active, but they feel like they hit that plateau.
Oh,
what would you recommend for those people who have plateaued?
Beautiful plateau. All right, the plateau. All right.
Do you mind if I start and then you go?
Please, start it off for me.
I find oftentimes when I hit a plateau, cross training is key. Finding a style that your body's not used to, that's not efficient at, that it's not necessarily good at, oftentimes is a good way to kind of get over the hump. So, for example, for me, I like my weights. I like my heavy weights, and been doing a lot of training, getting back into the flow of things, and I found that doing endurance training, so like muscular endurance training, has just added that next level, and I find cross training oftentimes is the answer.
The key when you hit a plateau is changing up what you're doing. So like you said, just changing up what you're doing, and I feel like we need to practice what we preach. If I tell somebody, you need somebody to train you, I feel like I need a trainer as well. So whenever I hit a plateau, because I know how to train, and I'm learning every day, but I know how to get around in a gym. So I train myself in a way where I know what I'm doing, but somebody else's point of view is going to really be beneficial. So I feel like when I hit a plateau, that's when I go seek help from a different trainer. So that's when I go get somebody to come and, give me their style, or, show me what they're doing. Like practicing what you preach. If you tell somebody, go get a trainer, you also need a trainer because you're used to doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Just like the client's used to doing their own thing. And you need to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah. And it's an easy thing to do, right? Find someone who wants to just work out with you, someone who doesn't train like you, doesn't look like you physically, oftentimes is that person that you'll approach that'll kind of open you up to this new cross training.
Exactly.
One of my favorite parts about being a trainer is collaborating with other trainers and getting into their style, because every trainer has their own thing, right?
I know. It's the beauty of this field is you can be doing a million different things and they could be the right thing. So that's why it's important to reach out. People really want to stay into their own thing, they don't want to help each other out, but it's so important because you got things I can learn from you, I got things you can learn from me.
Definitely.
And combining them doesn't make you, it doesn't change your style, it just adds to it.
Yeah.
And it just adds to my style, so I feel like it's a very important thing.
And the fitness industry, both for clients and for trainers, I love it. It's so collaborative.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's extremely collaborative.
It's all about the collaboration. That's what's gonna take a normal workout to the next level. It's the vibe you're in when you're working out. It's the community you have around you. It's the people who are there with you.
Yeah, and there's nothing like having someone next to you to kick your butt into gear.
Oh
right?
Oh yeah.
So to change gears a bit,
Tell me.
Your weekly schedule. What's your weekly training schedule look like?
Oh man, it's all over the place right now. So as I was telling you right before, this is the month of Ramadan, so I'm fasting from sunup to sundown.
That's tough.
That's like 3:30 a.m. till about a quarter before 9, so like 8:45. So nowadays I'm just pretty much freestyling it with a full body workout every 2 to 3 days, just because I can't really push myself because of the different schedule in eating. I end up eating at 8:40, and I can't have a big meal, so I eat till like 9:15. After that, I tend to hit the gym at like 10, and from 10 till about like 11:15ish, that's when I'm doing my workout. And as I said, 2 to 3 days a week these days. Usually is like right now I'm designing myself a program for when Ramadan ends, and that's looking very, very crazy right now. I'm starting off 3 days a week, and then slowly progressing into a 4-day a week, and that's what I'm trying to keep next semester as well while I'm in school.
Awesome.
Which is a super, super hard thing. That's what I'm trying to do.
And so you had a video that I saw about the benefits of Ramadan in relation to your training.
Yes.
You want to maybe tell us a bit about that? And
it was the benefits of fasting during Ramadan. I was explaining the video like training. I was comparing fasting to training. So let's say we do a leg day. How I do leg days, for 2 days after, my legs are shot. So my legs need a 2-day break easy.
Yeah.
Depending on what I'm doing, where I'm at in my training cycle, but my legs need a 2-day break easy. And same thing goes with eating. So when you eat, you're taxing your body, you're taxing your digestive system. So when you eat in the morning, then you don't eat it during the day, you give your body that time to recuperate. And that's what I explained in the video, the benefits of fasting. So it's been scientifically proven that fasting is very beneficial. And I recommend everybody to at least try intermittent fasting. So that's like, have a small meal in the morning. For a couple of hours, don't have a meal, and then have a meal in the afternoon. And you gotta make sure to eat clean, obviously. That's like, you know, and that's a given at this point when we're talking about eating. But it's very beneficial. You'll feel the difference.
Awesome. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link.
Yeah,
and
check it out.
Yeah. Because this guy's killing it. He's killing it on YouTube right now.
I'm trying.
And so, what's your favorite workout style? So you know you're doing your 2 to 3 times a week, but it's like, what's your thing?
Oh.
Like weights are my jam. What's your jam?
My jams are weight and I like to put my training into movements. So a lot of people are just gonna hit the gym, and there's a different body type when you hit the gym. And then when you hit the gym and you put it, like, to apply to a sport, let's say. So my brother does boxing. And a boxer's going to have a different type of body than somebody who weightlifts.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Putting those two combinations together gives you a unique type of body. And that's what I like to do. So I like to train in the gym, obviously lift weights. Leg day is my favorite day. And I like to put it in practice after. So let's say I do a big leg day. The next workout I'm going to have, I'm going to be doing some speed training. So I'm doing hills, I'm going to be doing running, just to put those muscles into exercise and not just into strain. You know, I don't want to always strain the muscle.
Yeah.
I want to also put it into function to be able to use it.
That's a really interesting concept, because if you think about all the different kinds of athletes, they tend to typically have different kinds of builds, right?
Yeah,
and so you're kind of like getting this nice,
for sure,
rounded, almost superhuman type of physique.
Yeah, that's the goal. It never looks like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I wish, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I got a sweet tooth. It never looks like superhuman. It looked once or twice in my life, but you know.
when we were much younger.
Yeah, but actually, before I got injured.
Okay.
My life has completely changed from before surgery to after surgery. I had to like readapt to everything. That's when it went from superhuman to you know, more of a regular human being type thing.
So Fadi.
Yes, sir.
You had this really awesome video. Like when I saw it, I was like, are you serious? And it's that you met Gary V, the legend. Like the guy, Gary V.
Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk, yes.
So, what was that like, and how did you make that happen?
Alright, so if you guys want to know a bit more, I'm going to give you a brief overview. Go check out my videos because I explain how I met Gary V and how I went about meeting Gary V.
And we'll link that too.
So what happened was there was an event taking place in Montreal, which I heard of. It was called Influence MTL, and it was crazy. You had a lot of panelists which were big time names in the city, from clothes designer to the guy who started MTL blog to a whole bunch of just, you know, corporate people who are self-made from the city. So that was very, very interesting, and I wanted to be a part of that event. So I went and I checked out how to purchase tickets, and tickets were running from 200 to 1,200.
That's a lot of money.
So I don't know about you, because you have those big pockets, but it was a bit hard on mine.
They're not that big.
No, it's hard. It was hard. So I found out who was organizing the event, contacted them, and asked to volunteer. So that's how I went about it. So it's not the first time I go about it. Whenever I find an event that's like a bit too expensive and I really want to attend, I go about it by volunteering to the event, which I recommend everybody doing. Unless it's an event I want to go to, you can't really volunteer because then you're going to take my spot, and I'm just playing.
I feel like that's almost like Gary V-esque to do that, to get into an event that way.
Yes. So and I told him about it. So what happened was, since I was a volunteer, it was only the people who paid the $1,200 for the ticket who got a chance to meet him. So it was a meet and greet as well. And he was giving like the last lecture, the last keynote was given by him. So I wasn't able to meet him because I was a volunteer. And you had a handful of people, on like 1,400 people, you had a handful that got a chance to meet him because they paid the 1,200. So at some point, since I was a bit more outgoing than the other volunteers, they were giving me more tasks to do. They asked me to grab a box and to put it in a room. And they told me, go check if the room's open first, and grab the box, put it in the room. So I'm like, okay, I go to the room, I open up the door just to make sure it's unlocked. I pop my head inside and I see it's Gary V. So I'm like, oh shit.
He's just in there just doing his thing.
I'm like, this is my time, this is my cue. Because although I love Gary V, I feel like going to see him, he says the same thing a lot in his lectures. And he actually says that he says the same thing. So it wasn't really about going to it. It was more about meeting him and just, you know, networking with people. So I was networking with people all day. This was a second part of my day. This was meeting him. So that was like a first checklist, and I was about to go get my second one. So I rushed back, grabbed the box, came to the room, put the box in the room, and popped my phone up. And I'm like, yo, Gary, do you mind if I shoot this real quick? He's like, no, it's all good. So I'm there, I'm shooting, I got my phone out, I'm bouncing ideas off of him. I'm having a good time. I think he was having a good time.
You're just doing the video.
Yeah, yo, what's good?
Yeah.
And then at some point, he looks at my camera, he's like, yo, dude, your camera isn't even on. And I'm like, oh, man. We lost the good footage. But it's all good. What happens next, you go check it out. But yeah, I got to conversate with him, bounce ideas off of him, super cool guy. And I let him know that I got into the event by volunteering. He's like, yo, that's exactly what I would have done. So it's funny you brought that up.
So that's really awesome. I mean, I didn't get to meet him like you, which is like, you just executed on a whole different level.
The second checklist of the day, my day was good.
But yeah, if you haven't heard Gary Vee and he's in your area, you gotta check him out. Like, it's like I was saying to you before the event, right? Like,
yeah.
If you hear Gary Vee live, it will change your life.
And it's funny, I contacted you right before the event. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm about to go see Gary. Because I contacted you and you told me, yo, go see this guy, he will change your life.
Yeah.
So I was excited because I'm not a fan, but I appreciate his work. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I feel like a lot of things he says is very important and very good. I recommend everybody to go check him out. So when you told me, it's gonna change your life, I'm like, all right, I have to go to this event. That was the dot on the line. I have to get in.
It's a must.
So I hit you up right before. I'm like, yo, I found a way to get in. And next thing you know, I met him.
Yeah.
So that was very cool.
And that's really cool how the volunteering you giving gave you back, right? Which is that's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about. It's about giving and getting back. That's what it is.
Awesome.
Don't give expecting to get back, but just, you know, give out, and you know, the world brings back the vibes right to you.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And you were just doing your thing and you saw an opportunity. Some people would have gotten scared and be like, oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
You executed.
And the nice part, I didn't even have to force it.
Right place, right time, and execution.
That's it.
Awesome. So we're gonna wrap things up, but before I let you go, what are you doing now? What's in the future for Fadi?
Future plans. All right. About to start my master's in the fall, and I'm looking to, you know, start my own business. So I'm like at that point where it's like, do I go more, you know, academia, or do I go more business? That's where I'm at right now. But I got a couple of things in store, and we'll see.
I'm sure this won't be the last time we'll see Fadi on the vlog, or the vlog. This isn't the last time that we'll see Fadi on the channel, and because you got bright stuff coming for you, man.
Yo, next time around, you're coming to mine. You're coming to my channel.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot for having me, man.
All right, and be sure to check out Fadi's videos. We're gonna link it in the description, and right here you can always hook it up.
Yeah, hit me up.
All right, you guys have a blessed day.